Hello, 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 hello. I am Fred Feliciano, the CEO of Critical Conversations HR. And this morning, today, this afternoon, this evening, all depending on when you're watching this, we are going to be discussing age discrimination for those 55 plus. Now, to be honest with you, excuse me. So to be honest with you, I've had a lot of anxiety about this topic. I thought about not doing this topic because it's very personal to me. I've worked in organizations as small as 10 employees to as big as 1,500. And the issue of age discrimination for those 55 plus is a big thing. It's a real thing. It exists out there. I also thought about what value can I add to the topic? That was one thing that came to my mind. Am I gonna be able to say something that other people haven't already said? Am I gonna be able to give someone who's out there, who's older, who's struggling because somebody may not hire them, because they may not get a promotion? Can I give them some insight? Can I give them some, kernel of wisdom or hope? Because right now the job market is not it's not good. I don't care what the news media outlets are saying about the job market. It's very tough to get a job out there. I hear it from a lot of people that are struggling to get interviews. They're struggling um, to pay their bills. They're struggling to buy groceries. Everything has gone up, inflation. So I don't want to give you any sob stories or play any violin music, but there are people out there suffering um, all the time, right? And the issue of age discrimination is something that's real, is something that um, is bringing down the mental health of a lot of people. So I wanted to specifically talk about the problems, some of the problems that I've seen in my HR background, the problems involving those people who are 55 plus. So one problem that I see for people that are 55 plus is that they might be in environments where people lack or their coworkers lack a high level of emotional intelligence. So what I mean by that is someone 55 plus might be in a environment where uh, they hear a lot of comments about their age. They hear comments like, "Hey, maybe grandpa or grandma can do it," or someone makes a comment about their inability to use technology or their inability to learn a new technology. That is one problem that I see, a lack of emotional intelligence. And I believe that many people who make these comments may not necessarily have some bad intentions, but in a lot of respects it doesn't matter because what matters is the outcome. So in the eyes of the law, if you did not intend to kill someone, it's not murder, it's still a crime, it's called manslaughter. So the outcome is still the same, someone has died, right? So just because someone in your workplace doesn't have was not, ill-mannered, if someone did not have any malice in making these kind of comments, it doesn't make it acceptable or it doesn't make it right. There should be an environment where there's a level of emotional intelligence and your colleagues are not making inappropriate comments about your age. Um, that's not cool at all. Another problem that I've seen with 55 plus is, I guess you would call it disparate treatment. Managers not giving a certain workload to those 55 plus because they feel that they may not be able to handle it. I've seen assignments not being given to specific employees of a certain age because again they feel that they may not be able to handle it, or they may not be able to do it at a certain speed. What I've always advised employers is that it is harder to fill a vacancy, all of the time that you put into um, training someone, I'm sorry, all of the time that you put into recruiting someone, placing ads, doing interviews, having someone go through the process, it's more cost effective to provide somebody with training and to better them as a professional and to give them maybe a little bit more time than someone else may need. Um, one thing I've seen in my career in the field of HR, unfortunately, were people being passed up for promotions, people not getting raises, in part because of their age. Um, so age discrimination is something that is real. It does exist. And my goal has always been to work with employers to have them understand that it's a more cost-effective approach to work with someone and to train them than to terminate them and to go through the whole recruiting process. The other day, I was playing pickleball with an associate of mine who worked in the banking industry for about 25 years, 30 years. And I asked him for his opinion. I said, "What do you think, or what were some of the major issues that you encountered with people 55 plus?" And his piece of feedback was something that I think holds true to my experience as well. And he basically told me that what he saw was that there's been a lack of continuing education for those people 55 plus, and that he would be less inclined to hire someone, or he would have been because he's retired. He would have been less inclined to hire someone who was 55 plus, because there was a lack of continuing education, a lack of just bettering their skills. And I think that piece of feedback is something that holds true to a lot of people. There's a complacency out there in which people get very comfortable with their jobs. So imagine someone in their role for 5, 10, 15 years, and they're very comfortable. They think they're not going to go anywhere, and then they have to go. They get laid off, and then they're entering a workforce in which they haven't honed in on their skills. They haven't done any continuing education. They haven't learned the new trends. That obviously is going to hurt them. It's going to hurt them big time. So that was a piece of feedback he gave: the lack of continuing education, the lack of improving their craft as opposed to someone younger. So one of my biggest takeaways for someone who is 55 plus, who's still in the workplace, is you need to re-examine your career right now. You need to take a look at how marketable you are in the field. You even may need to look at job descriptions out there and postings and compare yourself to what other people are looking for right now in this very moment, because you may find that your background may not align to what people are looking for now. So your background may align with what people were looking for X number of years ago, but now it might be a different situation. So if you see a gap in what people are looking for now versus where you're at, please attempt to bridge that gap. Get the skills you need, take the courses that you need to be more marketable. And there's a gentleman who has a YouTube channel. It's called Life After Layoff. I strongly advise everyone go there and take a look at his channel. He does great work and speaks about recruiting. He speaks about the job market now. And he says, you have to be the CEO of your career. Don't let other people make decisions for you. So be the CEO of your career and just take charge. Identify where those gaps are in your career, in your background, and try to bridge that gap. So Age discrimination is a real thing. It happens. It's out there. Please be more marketable. Get the skills that you need so that the employer doesn't see any gaps in terms of your skills, in terms of whether it be technology, in terms of adult and continuing education. Uh, don't have those gaps be highlighted for the employer so that they have a reason not to hire you. Don't put that out there. Okay. Also, I want to speak about severance agreements, early retirements, and this is going to be a little bit controversial, but I believe that if you're in a situation where if you're 55 plus, you feel the environment is not great. Excuse me. You feel the environment is not great, and you're offered a severance package. One thing to understand is that severance packages are always negotiable. Typically, when an employer offers you a severance package, they have a drop dead amount that they will not go over. And in some cases, they've took some money off the top so that they can have some wiggle room to negotiate. So if you have the opportunity that you're offered a severance package, you may want to consider it because it might be a good economical decision to actually leave the organization and take the severance package and have your old employer pay for Cobra. It might be worthwhile. It might be a good thing. All throughout my career, I have had many people that I've had to offer packages to, and in some respects, they have seen it as a blessing. Okay, they've seen it as a blessing because they were worked in an environment where they felt they were not being treated properly. In that same respect, you always have the option of seeing an employment and labor attorney, getting their input. Typically, all severance agreements that I've been a part of in the past, there's some verbiage in there about you have, let's say, 21 days to review. I'm sorry, it might be 14 days to review. Actually, 21 days to review the agreement, all based on your specific age, and then you typically have a window of a couple of weeks in which you can revoke your signature. So if you're offered a severance agreement, it's something you might want to take to an employment and labor attorney and get their feedback on. It might be economical for you to resign or to take an early retirement. Many people do not want to be in the workforce now, including younger people. So that could be an option for you as well. Okay. So this is Critical Conversations HR. If anyone has any questions, concerns, feel free to reach out. I look forward to chatting with you again. Take care.